can reflect back to being a player with and manager of some of the finest players that have ever been in the game.
Hotspur America. From the United States to N17, this is the original US-based podcast dedicated solely to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
When you're at a club like Tottenham, they expect you to win all the time. Be the best club in the country as far as I'm concerned.
Coming to you each week during the season.
Spurs in full cry here. Lamella! Oh, what a goal! And Christian Eriksen has scored!
I hate Arsenal. I just hate them.
Oh, what a goal! And Cafu has put Tottenham in front! Kane comes to the Emirates, scores for Spurs.
We're the Yids in America.
Carried away, but Dix is there to tap in!
To dare is to do.
Tottenham Hotspur turning on the style. Glory, glory night at White Hart Lane. The Spurs are still marching on.
This is Hotspur America.
Season 4, episode 40 of the Hotspur America podcast. I'm Ken. I'm the new guy. I'm back. Had knee replacement surgery, a couple of things going on, but I'm glad to be back. Vass is joining me this morning. Vass, how you doing?
Yeah, okay, Ken. Bit glum after yesterday, but
Yep.
We'll soldier on.
We will. Simon, kind of an interesting day for you, right? Day down at the pub, 8th straight defeat in an FA Cup semifinal, but then you got to go see the Foo Fighters last night, and that's not too bad.
Yeah, but it could have been worse. There was a bad storm line coming through, and it's an amphitheater, so it's outdoors, and everyone's in ponchos, and everyone's getting soaked. But we played good defence there, I must admit, and it was a fantastic show. And seeing the UK Struts open for him, incredible. Dave Grohl he's a beast, and played for almost 3 hours. It was fantastic. So just wish it would have been a better start in the early part of the day, but that was crap.
Yeah, I actually had tickets to that show and had to end up selling them because of the way my knee surgery fell. There was no way I was going to make it last night and do that.
And once the Foo Fighters came on, everyone that was sitting on the lawn, they all stood up the whole gig, and we had
really?
We rented chairs, but but you would have not lasted, mate.
Barely lasted at the pub, but I did make it down there. Saw Timmy at the pub yesterday. It was good to see you again, man, and glad to have you on.
Yeah. I'm miserable. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I am miserable right now. I did have some pizza for breakfast. That helped a little.
You know, I'm the bachelor, and you're eating pizza for breakfast. It's a little backwards, but we'll get to that in a minute. First of all, as always, Hotspur America podcast brought to you by the Community Beer Company, the perfect pub pint to share with your mates. Go and find us on Instagram at Hotspur America Pod, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Spreaker, and the iTunes app on your Apple devices. FA Cup semifinal, and Tim, you've already kind of mentioned how crap you kind of feel. This is the 8th straight semifinal that Spurs have faltered in the FA Cup. Your feelings today?
Shit. Sum it up in one word.
Don't mince your words now, Tim. Just tell us what you really think, mate.
I'll tell you how I really feel. I'm just down. I don't know how we can't be down after this. It's disappointing. We need this. And it's just, I'm not disappointed that, I am disappointed that we lost, but I'm more disappointed in the performance that we put out there. When we lost to Juve, I was disappointed that we lost. We were out of the competition, but I could feel proud about our performance. I don't feel that way about how we played yesterday.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of really defining moments, and Vass, when you think back to all of the FA Cup semifinals that you've watched and we've not been successful at, yesterday was one of those things, and the defining moment of that match was the first Man United goal for me. Dembele, who does what Dembele does, he holds people off the ball. His footwork is impeccable. His strength is undeniable. And he was simply beat by Pogba, both in footwork and in strength, leading to that first United goal.
Yeah, I think the issues stemmed slightly before then, when Jan Vertonghen decided not to make a pass upfield and sent one back to Vorm. Vorm tried to get a ball back somehow to Vertonghen, went out for a United throw-in, and all of a sudden we've got pressure in our final third. And then a couple of moments later, the ball's getting cleared. It went to Dembele, and for some strange reason, he decided to turn Pogba on the inside and just totally lost it, and we effectively gifted them that first goal. I mean, Sanchez in between the two defenders got a free header on, which Vaughan had no chance for, and it was just basic sloppy play. Dembele's normally quite reliable, as you quite rightly said, but I don't know. I think he must have picked up an injury. I saw him on that breakaway chance for Ericsson, and I can't remember if that was before they scored or just after. But he seemed to be hobbling, and after that, he was ineffective for the rest of the game. I don't know whether he was thinking about that lost possession too much or whatever, but he was just totally ineffective after that.
And even
after a promising start.
And on the second goal, I would say you can put part of that on Dembele too, because he was the one who let Ander Herrera go free. That was his man, and he didn't mark him. He didn't track back with him. And I think that's what we're seeing with Dembele as the match goes on later in the match. He loses that energy, and he doesn't track back with his man.
Yeah, he was totally off it yesterday, I have to say.
Maybe his head's turned with all these rumors about big money in China. I don't know.
I can't imagine that's happening though, right in front of an FA Cup semifinal, though, right? It shouldn't affect your play. I mean, this should be something that you're up for, so that you can make a big payday if your intention is to leave. I struggle with that a little bit.
It shouldn't, but I mean, his play was affected yesterday. We don't. It was very uncharacteristic of him to be muscled off the ball like he was. And I understand Pogba's, a big guy also, but you just don't see Dembele do that, lose the ball, especially in our own third like that.
So Chairs, one of the things I took away from yesterday as well was that for as much energy as he brings to the pitch, I thought Sonny really struggled yesterday to make anything creative happen. And he almost seemed a little bit selfish with the ball, maybe one too many touches more than a few times. And Kane also not moving off the ball the way that we're used to seeing him move. He seemed to be very much planted in the center of that attacking final third and surrounded by red shirts. It was rare that he got a really good touch on the ball. Were there any defining moments for you in terms of player performance and energy out there that you looked at and made you scratch your head a little bit?
Well, defining moment is a broad paintbrush, and I would say the color is turd colored. But Sonny, first half he was involved in certainly marauding down that left flank and cutting inside. I thought there was one great chance he had, and I know he keeps favouring his left foot, but he'd have been much better cutting inside with his right, and I think he might have had a much better opportunity to score. Second half, obviously, he faded very, very quickly. But Kane's become an enigma. I know we've talked about it the last couple of weeks, particularly last week. Again, very, very quiet and Brighton despite scoring the goal. I think it came off him. And then yesterday, I don't know if he's fully fit, whether this
Simon
race for the... What?
I'm going to give you a multiple choice on potential issues with Harry. You tell me what it is. A, he's not fit and still injured. B, he has lost his confidence. C, he's still down from the loss to Juve and going out of Champions League. D, his focus has shifted to the World Cup. Or E, some combination of all of the above. Which is it?
Well, I was just about to say, I really think it's the injury. It could easily be a combination of the above, but I'm not sure if he's 100% fit, and he's just trying to get that match fitness for the World Cup. So it's probably an encompassing statement of all of those points you brought up, bar probably Juve. You got to get over that now. It's been almost 3 months.
But look, since Juve, in that Bournemouth performance where he went out injured, I mean, he was poor prior to the injury. We were not playing well before Harry went off in that Bournemouth match. And that was the one immediately after Juve. And every game since he's come back from his injury, he hasn't been at his level. And he even said after that Juve loss, he talked about how much it hurt to be out of that competition, to lose that match. I think it all stems from there. Then the injury adds to it. I just think he's lost confidence now.
Well, then do you pinpoint the whole team's performance? Because you could argue, other than the second half against Bournemouth, it's not been very good.
I mean, it was good against Chelsea, Chairs.
Apart from that game, which,
well,
I mean, it was good against Swansea also. So there's been matches after Juve where it's been good.
I think there are issues with Kane. He's evidently not fit, I would say, out of all of those choices. I do believe the Juve defeat affected him. All these issues about him claiming a goal at Stoke may have got to him too, because he's a sensitive sort, possibly. But he doesn't seem fit. And what you said, Chairs, quite rightly, or was it Kenny? I can't remember. He was just pretty stationary yesterday, wasn't he? Just in that area by the 18-yard, and he played exactly the same against Brighton. Wasn't very mobile. And normally you can guarantee it that Harry Kane will fashion at least one chance for himself. And he didn't do that in any of the last couple of games. His movement hasn't been there. I wonder if, he's got a lot of power at Spurs, because we know he is our talisman and his form demands that he is such, because he's been so fantastic. And I absolutely love the guy. But if he's not fully fit, then perhaps it's probably best for him to just be honest and say, look, boss, leave me out for a couple of games until I'm back on it or something. I don't know, because it's affecting his confidence. He doesn't look the same player at the moment.
That's where I think it is the confidence. And I don't want to talk much about Brighton, but just 2 chances he had on the edge of the box against Brighton where he didn't take his shot first time like we normally see he does. He hesitated a lot. And I think that goes back to the confidence. He just doesn't have it right now.
And Chairs, do you think that also is in combination with what maybe with Mohamed Salah kind of running away with this Golden Boot competition a little bit? The injury leaves Kane out for a few weeks. He falls further behind. It now looks like it's improbable that he could catch him unless he just goes on one of these incredible tears where he gets a couple of hat tricks in a row. Salah's going to keep scoring. And is that in combination with the injury, in combination with being knocked out of Champions League? And as you and I discussed at the pub yesterday, we're out of the Champions League. We're not going to win the league. We're not going to win the League Cup. We got knocked out early. We get knocked out of the FA Cup. What's left? What's left is finishing top 4 and opening that new stadium in Champions League football. And is there any kind of a real chance that we could actually bottle that in some kind of way, shape, or form? And how in the game does Harry and the guys need to be to not let happen what happened 2 years ago when Leicester ran away with the title and say, we're simply going to run out of gas the last 3 weeks. Chelsea, when you look at the standings and you see what matches are left, it's very improbable that we will get caught. But my goodness, it begs to ask the question, doesn't it?
All right, so multiple things going on there, Ken. If you think back to last year's Golden Boot and where the dynamic has shifted, last year Lukaku was so far ahead and Kane was playing catch up, and obviously those couple of hat tricks in the last 2 games helped. This year, the dynamic's different because Kane was leading it, and then Salah's overtaken him and steamed out. So obviously, as a striker, you're going to set personal goals as well as team goals, and for him, 3 Golden Boots in a row was clearly a personal goal. So I think, he's panicked a little bit, and coming back from an injury, I think he's trying too hard. So going into us as a team now and team goals, we've discussed this, and I hate the term bottle jobs, but we've turned into that. That clearly was the case. Trying to get second. We knew Leicester had won the league, and I don't say that was bottling. I don't say losing out to Chelsea last year. We definitely bottled second in the Leicester year. And we bottled the FA Cup, no doubt about it. You could say we bottled Juventus, and that's where it's starting to hurt. We're falling at the last hurdle, or a hurdle where we should never fall. I refer to Juve. We were 1-0 up in that game and ahead in the tie, and we bottled it. And it's plain and simple, those goals in 3 minutes. And so we've got 4 games. I think, what do we need, Vass? 7 points?
7 points to be absolutely sure.
If Chelsea win all theirs, we need 7 points out of a possible 12 to not bottle 4th, because that is what it's going to come down to.
You know what you were just saying there, Chairs, about bottling it. I've always argued against that, and yesterday you probably would have seen my tweet saying that we bottled it. And if you think back, Juve, we were in the lead and we lost it.